big stags. And coffee. Sweet coffee.
On my second morning in the Italian Alps, we get an early start, and our crew has shrunk. Andrea, the gamekeeper, Luca, and I all head up the mountain to a spot we kind of missed out on yesterday.
We've come to a spot here this morning that we came to yesterday, but we got here too late because we lollygagged around all morning. So now we're here before the sun came up. And something just occurred to me. I feel like the Italians are sabotaging me. They keep feeding me full of cheese, and gnocchi, and pasta, and dessert, and wine. And I think it's because they just want to watch me huff and puff as I go up the mountain. They're like, look at the fat American. If that's the case, it's working. Because I'm sucking wind.
Now you might think I'm joking, but I'm not. Just like yesterday, we walked and hiked and walked and hiked. And normally I can keep up with the best of them, but today I just felt like I was sucking wind. In case you're wondering, that's what sucking wind sounds like. Yesterday we saw tons of animals and heard tons of roaring. Today, we saw and heard nothing. I only have 2 days to get this done, and I'm starting to get worried. So at the end of the day, when I saw this spiker hanging with a few females, I seriously considered pulling the trigger.
I'm passing that one, and I just hope we're going to be rewarded later. That might have been my chance. We're running out of time.
He has 4 female with him.
He's a lucky guy.
Yeah.
I wish I had been that lucky when I was that young.
As my 2-day hunt comes to an end, and as my mind begins to accept the failure that has just occurred, Luca speaks with Andrea and arranges for one more day of hunting. But there's only one catch. Today is Thursday, and for some reason only known to the good Lord himself, you can't hunt on Tuesdays or Fridays in Italy. Seriously. So that means I've got a day off until I can hunt again, and you can bet your ass that I'm going to spend that day hunting for the 2 things that Italy is probably most famous for: food and wine. An hour and a half away is the village of Barbaresco, which is at the center of one of the most renowned winemaking areas in all of Italy. To get a good look around, Luca and I climbed to the top of the medieval tower that's in the center of town. It was built around the year 1000 to protect and defend against invaders, and from here you can see not only the entire town, but also the miles and miles of rolling hills and vineyards that make this area famous. And that of course makes me thirsty, so we climb down and go to visit one of the area's most famous vineyards, Ca del Baio, which has been owned and operated for generations by the Grasso family. And after I arrive, I'm greeted by Paola Grasso, who proudly begins to show me around.
This is beautiful.
This is our tasting room, and this one, when I was child, it was a stable with many animals.
Oh, okay.
Paola's passion for wine and her family business is immediately apparent, and it's infectious. She takes me into their private family wine vault, which has at least a few bottles of every vintage that they have ever made. As she shows me around, she tells me that Ca del Baio proudly has 1 foot in the old and 1 foot in the new. The place is all at once modern and vintage. They creatively mesh old world techniques with newer ones, and she tells me that this evolution is at the heart of the success of their winery, embracing the modern age in an ancient place while still clinging to their roots. And speaking of roots, we then take a walk through the very vines that make this famous wine. And then she saved the best for last. I'm invited to sit down with the entire family to break bread, enjoy local delicacies, a few laughs, and some world-class wine with some incredible people. But all good things must come to an end, and I say goodbye to the Grasso family because I've worked up an appetite. So back in town, Luca and I meet up with Iris and head to a restaurant called Campomac. And I'll be honest, I had no idea what I was about to experience. Campomac is all about experiencing food, not just eating it. And it's run by an incredible staff, including Michelin star-rated chef Alessandro Cabalbo, who immediately showed me that they cut no corners at this restaurant by shaving me off a slice of raw beef that's been dry-aged for 60 days.
If there was ever such a thing as a beautiful piece of meat, it's right here. I wish I knew how to say unbelievable in Italian because that is unbelievable.
And speaking of unbelievable, next, Alessandro took me into their famous wine cellar, which is a dangerous place to be sure, not because of the drinking of the wine, but because of how much drinking some of that wine might cost.
I don't even want to know how much money is in this room.
After that, we were led to a table, served a little wine, and then it was time to get serious.
Salute. Cheers. So, I will say this. We were just informed that there will be a 12-course meal now with wine pairings for each thing. Buckle up.
With each course, I felt like I had tasted the best thing ever.
That is unbelievable.
Somehow, each course kept getting better than the one before it, even if I was starting to slow down a little bit.
This is only course 5 of 12, and I am running out of steam.
This is hands down the best meal I've ever had in my life, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't exhausting.
Finally, the coffee. Finally, it's over. Although I don't want it to be over. I want it to happen again just 1 hour from now, after I take a nap. Whew.
If these ancient walls in Italy could tell you what they've seen and heard from past hunters, you'd probably hear a lot of stories of not only success, but of would'ves and could'ves, almosts and what ifs. And here in the Italian Alps, I've added to those stories, like what if I had shot a smaller stag on my first day, or we should have been there 5 minutes earlier, or what if that stag had been just a little closer. And that has been my story here so far. And so far, I've struck out. But I've been given one more morning to hunt, and it's the middle of the rut. And as every hunter knows, everything can change in the blink of an eye.
All right, we finally found the one we're looking for. And he's with 12 females. He's in there just rutting all over the place. This is a perfect scenario. The only problem is we have to make up a little bit of open ground here to get a shot.
There are so many metaphors that could be appropriate for this situation. The end of the line, the bottom of the ninth, all the eggs in one basket. Regardless of the cliche, my time is almost up. This moment and my time here in the Alps is going to end up in one of two ways. I did it, or I didn't.
Yeah, it's down. It's down.
He's down?
Yes, down.
Congratulations.
Oh my friend.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Very good.
Holy moly.
Wow.
Viva l'Italia, baby.
There's an old saying in Italian that goes something like "Finché vita, c'è speranza," which means where there is life, there is hope. This one extra day put life back in the hunt, and hope followed.
I was pretty convinced this wasn't going to happen.
I have been to Italy several times in my life, but this trip proves that you can't truly know anything, anywhere, or anyone through just one time or one conversation.
Hearing these things roar in a country that I have absolutely fallen in love with is truly one of the most special things that I've done.
If you ask me, the best memories are forged by being okay with a little bit of hard work and the willingness to try new things. Well, I showed up to Italy equipped with both, and so far, she has not disappointed.
I'll never forget this, and the best part is that my trip here in Italy is not even over yet. I go from here on to the next thing. I love Italy. I love Italy. I do.
Let's get it rockin'.